Life is a journey, and as we navigate its twists and turns, we encounter moments that are meant to last for a season rather than a lifetime. Recognizing when something has reached its natural conclusion is one of the most profound lessons we can learn. Yet this recognition is not always easy. Often we find ourselves holding on, clinging to people, situations, or circumstances that have already served their purpose. It is as though we fear the emptiness that comes with letting go, even when holding on causes us more harm than good. Understanding that every chapter has an ending is the first step toward unlocking new possibilities in life. When something ends, whether it's a relationship, a job, or even a phase of life, it's easy to feel a sense of loss. This is because humans naturally form emotional attachments. We become comfortable with what we know, even if it no longer aligns with who we are becoming. Familiarity provides a false sense of security, making it difficult to step into the unknown. However, just as seasons change, so must we. What once fit perfectly into our lives may now be a mismatch for the person we are growing into. Recognizing this misalignment is not an act of weakness, but an act of wisdom. There is a certain beauty in endings when we view them not as failures, but as transitions. Nature offers countless examples of this truth. Consider the trees that shed their leaves each autumn. The falling leaves are not a sign of decay, they are a necessary part of the tree's life cycle, allowing it to conserve energy for the winter and prepare for new growth in the spring. In the same way, endings in our lives create space for renewal. By clinging to what is no longer meant for us, we block this natural process and hinder our own growth. The idea of allowing something to end often brings resistance because it challenges our perception of control. Many of us equate endings with losing control, but this is a misconception. In reality, embracing the end of something gives us greater agency over our lives. When we resist endings, we allow ourselves to remain trapped in situations that no longer serve us, whether that's a toxic relationship, a dead-end job, or an unproductive habit. This resistance drains our energy and stunts our ability to move forward. One of the reasons it is so difficult to let things end is because of the emotional investment we've made. When we've poured our time, effort, and heart into something, it's hard to walk away. The concept of sunk cost often comes into play, where we justify staying in a situation simply because of how much we've already invested. But staying in a place of stagnation out of a fear of wasting what has already been spent only leads to further loss. Instead, we must shift our focus from what has been lost to what can be gained. Recognizing the end of a chapter also requires self-awareness. It demands that we look inward and ask ourselves difficult questions. Are we holding on a fear, habit, or obligation? Are we staying because it's what we truly want, or because we're afraid of the unknown? Answering these questions honestly can be uncomfortable, but it is necessary. Self-awareness gives us the clarity to see situations for what they truly are, not for what we wish them to be. Endings also teach us about trust in ourselves, trust in the process, and trust in the possibilities that lie ahead. When we allow something to end, we are signaling to the universe that we are ready to receive what comes next. This requires faith, especially when the path forward is unclear. It requires us to believe that we are not defined by what we leave behind, but by the courage we show in stepping into the future. In recognizing that a season is over, we also learn the importance of boundaries. Letting something end is a way of setting boundaries for ourselves and others. It is a declaration that we value our well-being and growth over the comfort of familiarity. These boundaries are not just about protecting ourselves from harm. They are about creating an environment where we can thrive. By allowing something to end, we are choosing to prioritize our highest good over temporary comfort. Another aspect of letting things end is understanding that endings are not always accompanied by closure. Sometimes we may never get the apology we hoped for, the explanation we long to hear, or the resolution we desire. Yet, this does not diminish the necessity of moving on. Closure is not something that is always given. It is something we must create for ourselves. By accepting the reality of an ending, even without all the answers, we take control of our narrative. Endings are not about erasing the past. They are about honoring the role that people, experiences, and moments have played in our lives while acknowledging that their time has passed. Every ending carries with it a lesson. And it is our responsibility to extract that wisdom and carry it forward. By recognizing when something has ended, we are not rejecting our history, but respecting our growth. Pain is an inescapable part of the human experience, and while it is often unwelcome, it serves a vital purpose in our lives. It is not merely an obstacle to be avoided, rather, it is a powerful indicator that transformation is underway. When something ends, whether it is a cherished relationship, a long-held dream, or a phase of life that felt secure, the pain that follows is a natural response. It is the mind and body's way of signaling that change has occurred. And with that change comes an opportunity for growth. In our culture, there is often a tendency to downplay pain, to dismiss it as weakness or something to be hidden. Society encourages us to mask our struggles, to put on a brave face, and to carry on as though nothing has happened. But pain cannot be ignored indefinitely. Suppressing it only allows it to fester, building layers of unresolved emotions that weigh us down over time. Pain, when embraced, becomes a catalyst for self-discovery. It forces us to confront the truths we might otherwise avoid, truths about ourselves, our circumstances, and what we truly value. Pain also has a way of bringing clarity. When life is comfortable, it's easy to become complacent, to settle into routines and habits without questioning whether they truly serve us. Pain disrupts this comfort. It strips away the illusions we've built and exposes what is real. It is in these moments of discomfort that we are forced to examine our lives more closely. The ending of something we once held dear often reveals the parts of ourselves that need attention, the wounds we've ignored, the fears we've buried, and the desires we've neglected. There is a misconception that pain is something to be eliminated as quickly as possible. This mindset leads many to seek distractions or quick fixes, whether through work, entertainment, or even unhealthy coping mechanisms. But in doing so, we rob ourselves of the growth that pain can bring. Pain is not the enemy. It is a guide pointing us toward the areas of our lives that require healing and change. When we allow ourselves to feel pain fully without judgment or resistance, we give it the space to do its work. Pain is also deeply connected to love and attachment. The reason it hurts so much when something ends is because of the value we placed on it. Whether it's the loss of a person, a dream, or a way of life, the pain we feel is a testament to how much it mattered to us. This can be a source of comfort in itself. The depth of our pain reflects the depth of our capacity to care, to invest, and to connect. Instead of resenting the hurt, we can choose to see it as evidence of a life lived with passion and purpose. In many ways, pain acts as a mirror. It reflects back to us the areas where we are strongest and the areas where we are still vulnerable. It reveals the stories we tell ourselves, the beliefs we hold, and the expectations we carry. When we experience pain, it is an opportunity to rewrite these narratives. Instead of seeing ourselves as victims of circumstance, we can choose to see ourselves as participants in a greater journey. Pain, while difficult, is a reminder that we are alive, that we are capable of feeling deeply, and that we are resilient enough to endure. Pain also has the power to connect us to others. It is a universal experience, one that transcends differences in background, culture, and circumstance. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, to acknowledge our pain and share it with others, we create spaces for empathy and understanding. This connection can be healing in itself. Knowing that we are not alone in our struggles can provide the strength needed to move forward. Pain, when shared, becomes lighter, and the bonds formed through mutual understanding can be some of the most meaningful in our lives. The process of experiencing pain is not linear. It doesn't follow a predictable timeline, nor does it come with a clear set of instructions. There will be moments when it feels overwhelming, when the weight of it seems too much to bear. There will be moments of numbness when it feels as though the pain has subsided only to resurface again. This ebb and flow is natural. It is the body and mind's way of processing and releasing what no longer serves us. Trusting this process is key, even when it feels chaotic or uncertain. Pain also teaches us about patience. In a world that often demands instant results, pain reminds us that some things cannot be rushed. Healing takes time, and the lessons that come from pain often reveal themselves gradually. It is through this patience that we develop resilience, the ability to endure discomfort and emerge stronger on the other side. Each moment of pain endured adds to our inner strength, building a foundation of courage and perseverance that will serve us in future challenges. Through pain, we also learn to appreciate joy. The contrast between the two emotions highlights the richness of the human experience. Without pain, the beauty of happiness, love, and contentment would be less profound. It is the moments of difficulty that make the moments of ease so much sweeter. Pain sharpens our awareness, making us more attuned to the blessings in our lives. It teaches us gratitude, not just for the good times, but for the strength we discover in ourselves during the hard times. Emotions are an integral part of the human experience, yet they are often misunderstood and undervalued. When faced with pain or loss, the natural inclination is to avoid or suppress those emotions, as though ignoring them will make them disappear. However, emotions that are ignored do not go away, they linger, shaping our thoughts, actions, and even our physical health in ways we may not immediately recognize. Facing emotions directly is not a sign of weakness, but a courageous act of self-awareness and self-care. To truly heal and move forward, we must allow ourselves to feel, process, and ultimately release the emotions tied to our experiences. The avoidance of emotions stems from a fear of vulnerability. Society often portrays emotional expression as a lack of control or a sign of instability, leading many to bury their feelings beneath a facade of strength. This avoidance can take many forms, throwing oneself into work, seeking constant distractions, or pretending that everything is fine when it is not. But emotions, much like water seeking its level, will always find a way to surface. They manifest in unexpected ways, such as bursts of anger, unexplained sadness, or physical symptoms like fatigue and tension. Suppressing emotions may provide temporary relief, but it does not address the underlying issue. Acknowledging and facing emotions requires us to confront discomfort. It involves sitting with feelings that may be painful, confusing, or overwhelming. This process can feel daunting, especially when the emotions are tied to deep losses or unmet expectations. Yet it is within this discomfort that growth begins. Emotions are not random, they carry messages about our needs, desires, and values. By facing them, we gain insights into what truly matters to us and what aspects of our lives may need change. One of the most powerful aspects of facing emotions is the way it fosters self-compassion. When we allow ourselves to feel deeply, we affirm our humanity. We give ourselves permission to grieve, to be disappointed, or to feel anger without judgment. This act of self-acceptance is liberating. It breaks the cycle of self-criticism that often accompanies emotional struggles and replaces it with understanding and kindness. Instead of seeing emotions as obstacles, we begin to see them as guides leading us toward greater self-awareness and personal growth. Facing emotions does not mean being consumed by them. There is a difference between processing emotions and dwelling in them. Processing involves acknowledging how we feel, understanding the root of those feelings, and allowing them to move through us. Dwelling, on the other hand, involves fixating on the pain and allowing it to define us. The key is to create a balance, honoring our emotions without becoming trapped by them. This balance requires intentionality and mindfulness. Mindfulness is a powerful tool in facing emotions. By practicing mindfulness, we learn to observe our feelings without becoming overwhelmed by them. It allows us to experience emotions fully without attaching judgment or resistance. When we are mindful, we can name our emotions: sadness, anger, fear, or disappointment, and explore their origins. This practice not only helps us process our emotions, but also prevents us from reacting impulsively. Mindfulness creates a space between feeling and action, giving us the clarity to choose our responses rather than being ruled by our emotions. Another important aspect of facing emotions is learning to express them in healthy ways. Bottling up emotions can lead to frustration and resentment, while unfiltered outbursts can damage relationships and create regret. Finding constructive outlets such as journaling, talking to a trusted friend, or engaging in creative activities provides a safe space for emotional release. These outlets serve as pressure valves, allowing us to release pent-up feelings without harming ourselves or others. In doing so, we create room for healing and resolution. The act of facing emotions also strengthens our relationships. When we are honest about how we feel, we build deeper connections with others. Vulnerability fosters intimacy and trust, enabling us to navigate conflicts and misunderstandings more effectively. While it may feel risky to share our emotions, doing so often leads to greater empathy and support from those around us. People cannot help us if they do not know what we are going through. By being open about our feelings, we invite others to walk alongside us in our journey. It is important to remember that facing emotions is not a one-time event, but an ongoing process. Emotions are fluid. They come and go in waves, often resurfacing when we least expect it. This is particularly true for complex emotions tied to significant losses or life changes. Each time these emotions arise, they bring with them an opportunity for deeper understanding and healing. The process may be challenging, but it is also profoundly rewarding. Over time, as we continue to face our emotions, we become more resilient and better equipped to handle future challenges. Facing emotions also shifts the way we view ourselves. It allows us to move beyond labels of strong or weak and embrace the fullness of our humanity. Strength is not the absence of emotion, but the willingness to engage with it honestly and courageously. By facing our emotions, we reclaim our power. We are no longer at the mercy of feelings we do not understand. Instead, we become active participants in our emotional well-being. This empowerment extends to all areas of life, enhancing our relationships, our decision-making, and our overall sense of fulfillment. Healing is a journey, not a destination. It is a process that unfolds over time, requiring patience, self-awareness, and intentional effort. Yet, in a world that values speed and instant results, healing can feel like an elusive goal, something we expect to happen overnight. This misconception often leads to frustration and discouragement when progress feels slow or setbacks occur. But true healing, the kind that transforms and liberates, cannot be rushed. It demands that we honor the process no matter how long it takes, and trust that each step, no matter how small, is part of a larger movement toward wholeness. When something ends and pain follows, the immediate instinct is often to fix it, to find a way to make the discomfort disappear. But healing is not about erasing pain, it's about integrating it. The experiences that wound us also shape us, and healing involves understanding how those experiences fit into the larger story of our lives. This requires us to sit with our pain, to examine it with curiosity rather than judgment, and to allow it to teach us what we need to learn. Healing is not passive, it is an active engagement with our emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. One of the most challenging aspects of healing is acknowledging the need for it. Many people move through life carrying unhealed wounds, either unaware of them or unwilling to face them. These wounds manifest in various ways: difficulty trusting others, an inability to set boundaries, or patterns of self-sabotage. Recognizing the need for healing is a courageous act, as it requires confronting the parts of ourselves that feel broken or incomplete. It means admitting that we need to do the work, even when it feels overwhelming. Healing also involves releasing the illusion of control. When we experience loss or trauma, there is often a temptation to replay events in our minds, searching for ways we could have prevented the outcome. This endless cycle of what ifs only prolongs our suffering, keeping us stuck in the past. True healing requires us to accept that some things are beyond our control and that our worth is not defined by what we could or could not change. Acceptance does not mean condoning what happened. It means choosing to let go of the struggle against reality. Forgiveness is another essential component of healing, though it is often misunderstood. Forgiveness is not about excusing the actions of others or minimizing their impact. It is about freeing ourselves from the burden of resentment and anger. Holding on to these emotions can feel like a form of protection, a way of maintaining control over a situation that hurt us. But in reality, they only weigh us down, preventing us from moving forward. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, a way of reclaiming our peace and releasing the hold the past has on us. Healing also requires creating space for new possibilities. When we are consumed by pain or loss, it can feel as though there is no room for anything else. Our focus narrows and we become trapped in a cycle of rumination and regret. To heal, we must actively choose to expand our perspective, to open ourselves to the idea that life can still hold joy, love, and meaning. This does not mean denying our pain. It means recognizing that it is one part of a much larger picture. Self-care plays a critical role in the healing process. Taking care of our physical, emotional, and mental well-being is not a luxury, it is a necessity. This might mean seeking therapy, journaling, meditating, or simply allowing ourselves time to rest. Self-care also involves setting boundaries, both with others and with ourselves. It means saying no to things that drain us and yes to things that nourish us. By prioritizing our well-being, we create an environment in which healing can flourish. Healing is deeply personal and looks different for everyone. For some, it may involve seeking professional help, while for others, it might mean leaning on a support system of friends and family. Some may find healing in solitude, while others may find it in community. There is no right or wrong way to heal, and comparing our journey to someone else's only detracts from our progress. What matters is that we remain committed to the process, even when it feels difficult or uncertain. It's important to acknowledge that healing is not a linear path. There will be moments of progress and moments of setback, times when we feel strong and times when we feel like we're starting over. This ebb and flow is natural and does not mean that we are failing. Each step, even the difficult ones, is part of the process. Healing is about building resilience, about learning to navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. The process of healing also invites us to redefine our relationship with pain. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid or eliminate, we begin to see it as a teacher. Pain shows us where we need to grow, where we need to let go, and where we need to build strength. It forces us to slow down, to pay attention, and to connect with ourselves in a deeper way. Through this connection, we develop a greater sense of self-awareness and self-compassion, both of which are essential for healing. Healing ultimately transforms us. It changes the way we see ourselves, others, and the world around us. It allows us to move from a place of pain to a place of peace, from a mindset of scarcity to one of abundance. It gives us the tools to face future challenges with greater confidence and grace, knowing that we have already overcome so much. While the process may be difficult, it is also deeply rewarding, offering us the chance to grow, evolve, and live more authentically. Letting go is one of the most profound and challenging actions a person can take. It is an act of release, a decision to free ourselves from the weight of what no longer serves us. This does not come easily, as human beings are naturally inclined to hold on to the familiar, even when it brings pain or stagnation. Letting go requires strength, courage, and a willingness to step into the unknown, yet it is an essential part of growth and healing. Without it, we remain tethered to the past, unable to fully embrace the opportunities and experiences that lie ahead. One of the reasons letting go feels so difficult is the attachment we form to our experiences, relationships, and even our pain. These attachments often become intertwined with our identity, making it hard to distinguish where we end and they begin. We tell ourselves stories about who we are and what we deserve based on these attachments, and the thought of releasing them can feel like losing a part of ourselves. However, holding on to these connections can prevent us from discovering new facets of our identity and limit our potential for growth. Letting go is not about forgetting or erasing the past. It is about acknowledging what was, understanding its impact on us, and deciding to move forward without being held captive by it. This process involves a shift in perspective, from seeing the past as something that defines us to viewing it as a chapter in our story. The past can inform who we are, but it does not have to dictate who we become. Letting go allows us to reclaim our power and take control of our narrative. One of the barriers to letting go is the fear of the unknown. When we release something, we create a void, and the uncertainty of what might fill that void can be intimidating. This fear often keeps us clinging to situations, people, or habits that feel safe, even if they are no longer healthy or fulfilling. Overcoming this fear requires trust in ourselves, trust in the process, and trust that life has more to offer. Letting go is an act of faith, a declaration that we are willing to make space for something better, even if we cannot yet see what that is. Another challenge in letting go is the tendency to dwell on what could have been. We often replay scenarios in our minds, imagining how things might have turned out differently if only we or others had acted in another way. This fixation on the what ifs keeps us tethered to a reality that does not exist, draining our energy and focus. Letting go involves accepting that the past cannot be changed and that our energy is better spent on shaping our present and future. Forgiveness plays a significant role in the process of letting go. This includes not only forgiving others, but also forgiving ourselves. We often hold on to guilt, shame, or regret, punishing ourselves for decisions we made or opportunities we missed. This self-blame can be as heavy as any external burden. Forgiving ourselves is an act of compassion, a way of acknowledging that we did the best we could with the knowledge and resources we had at the time. It is a way of releasing the grip of self-judgment and allowing ourselves to move forward with grace. Letting go also requires a willingness to embrace change. Change is an inevitable part of life, yet it is something many resist. We crave stability and predictability, often mistaking them for security. However, growth and transformation require change. By letting go of what no longer serves us, we create room for new experiences, relationships, and opportunities that align with who we are becoming. This does not mean abandoning everything familiar, but it does mean being open to the possibility that life can look different and better than we imagine. The act of letting go is deeply personal and varies from person to person. For some, it may involve a conscious decision to end a toxic relationship, leave an unfulfilling job, or release a long-held grudge. For others, it may be a more internal process, such as letting go of limiting beliefs or unrealistic expectations. Whatever the specifics, the underlying principle is the same: releasing what weighs us down so we can rise to our full potential. Letting go is not a one-time event, but a practice. It is a skill we cultivate over time as we encounter new challenges and opportunities for growth. There will be moments when we feel we have let go, only to find the same emotions or patterns resurfacing later. This is not a failure, but a reminder that healing and growth are ongoing processes. Each time we choose to let go, we strengthen our ability to do so, building resilience and clarity. The freedom that comes from letting go is unparalleled. It liberates us from the chains of the past, allowing us to step fully into the present. It opens the door to new possibilities and gives us the space to create a life that aligns with our values and desires. Letting go is not about losing, it is about gaining peace, gaining clarity, and gaining the ability to move forward unencumbered by what no longer serves us. While the process may be challenging, the rewards are immeasurable, offering us a renewed sense of purpose and the freedom to embrace life fully. Growth is a fundamental aspect of the human experience, but it rarely happens in the comfort of familiarity. Pain, while often viewed as an unwelcome visitor, is one of the most potent catalysts for growth. It strips away illusions, confronts us with truths we might prefer to avoid, and pushes us to dig deeper within ourselves to find resilience and strength we never knew we had. Though painful experiences can leave scars, they also leave lessons, valuable insights that shape our character, refine our vision, and prepare us for what lies ahead. Pain has a way of bringing clarity to our lives. It forces us to examine what truly matters and challenges us to let go of what does not. In moments of comfort, we can become complacent, holding on to habits, relationships, or mindsets that no longer serve us simply because they feel safe. Pain disrupts this inertia, shaking us out of our routines and compelling us to take a closer look at ourselves and our surroundings. It demands honesty, making us confront what we might otherwise ignore or deny. This confrontation, though uncomfortable, lays the foundation for meaningful growth. In the midst of pain, it's natural to ask, why me? This question can feel like an expression of despair, but it also holds the potential for transformation. Pain challenges us to shift our perspective from why is this happening to me to what can I learn from this. This shift is not about diminishing the validity of our pain, but about finding purpose within it. Every painful experience holds a lesson, whether it's about resilience, self-worth, or the importance of setting boundaries. These lessons become tools, equipping us to navigate future challenges with greater wisdom and confidence. Pain also teaches us the value of vulnerability. It strips away our defenses, exposing the raw, unfiltered parts of ourselves. While this vulnerability can feel uncomfortable or even frightening, it is also a gateway to deeper connections with ourselves and with others. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we open the door to empathy, compassion, and understanding. We begin to see pain not as something to be hidden or suppressed, but as a shared human experience that unites us all. This realization fosters connection and reminds us that we are never truly alone, even in our darkest moments. One of the most profound ways pain fosters growth is by challenging our perceptions of strength. Society often equates strength with stoicism, with the ability to endure hardship without showing weakness. But true strength lies in the ability to face pain head on, to feel it fully, and to move through it with grace. It is not about suppressing emotions, but about acknowledging them, processing them, and finding a way to move forward despite them. Pain reveals the depth of our resilience, showing us that we are capable of enduring more than we imagine while still holding on to hope and the capacity for joy. Growth through pain also involves a process of rebuilding. Pain can leave us feeling broken, as though the pieces of our lives no longer fit together. But this breaking is also an opportunity to reassemble those pieces in a way that aligns more closely with who we are and what we value. It is a chance to redefine ourselves, to let go of what no longer fits, and to create a new version of our lives that reflects our growth and transformation. This process requires courage and patience, but it also brings a sense of empowerment as we take an active role in shaping our future. Another lesson pain teaches us is the importance of presence. When we are in pain, it can feel overwhelming, consuming our thoughts and emotions. But pain also has a way of anchoring us in the present moment, forcing us to confront what is rather than escaping into what was or what could be. This presence, though initially uncomfortable, can become a powerful tool for growth. It helps us develop mindfulness, teaching us to observe our emotions without judgment and to respond to them with compassion and understanding. In this way, pain becomes a teacher, guiding us toward a deeper connection with ourselves and the present. Pain also fosters creativity and innovation. Some of the most profound works of art, literature, and music have been born out of pain, as individuals channel their emotions into creative expression. This act of creation is not just about producing something new, it is also about transforming pain into beauty, meaning, and connection. By finding ways to express our pain, we not only process it, but also create something that can inspire and uplift others. This creative process is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, showing that even in the face of hardship, we have the power to create and contribute. Growth through pain is not a linear process. There will be moments of progress and moments of setback, times when we feel strong and times when we feel overwhelmed. But each step, no matter how small, brings us closer to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us. Pain teaches us to be patient with ourselves, to honor the process of healing and transformation, and to trust that growth is happening, even when it is not immediately visible. It reminds us that strength is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to persevere through it with hope and determination. Ultimately, pain reshapes our perspective on life. It deepens our capacity for gratitude, making us more aware of the beauty and joy that exist alongside hardship. It sharpens our empathy, helping us connect with others on a more authentic level. It strengthens our resolve, reminding us of our ability to overcome adversity. While we may not welcome pain, we can choose to embrace the growth it brings, recognizing that it is not just a source of suffering, but also a powerful force for transformation. In this way, pain becomes not an end, but a beginning, a catalyst for the kind of growth that enriches and empowers us in ways we might never have imagined. Healing is a process that demands patience, self-awareness, and intentional effort. It is not something that happens overnight or follows a neatly defined timeline. Instead, healing unfolds gradually, layer by layer, as we navigate the complex emotions and experiences that have shaped us. It is a deeply personal journey, unique to each individual, influenced by their past, their circumstances, and their capacity for self-reflection and growth. What makes healing both challenging and transformative is its demand that we confront our pain rather than avoid it, and work through it with a sense of purpose and resilience. At the heart of healing lies acceptance. This is not resignation to pain or suffering, but rather an acknowledgement of reality as it is. Acceptance allows us to stop fighting against what we cannot change and focus our energy on what we can. It is the first step in letting go of resistance and beginning to work with, rather than against, our emotions. Many people struggle with acceptance because it feels like giving up or admitting defeat, but in truth, it is a powerful act of courage. Accepting the past and its impact on us creates space for us to begin the healing process without judgment or self-criticism. Healing also requires us to embrace vulnerability. This can be one of the most difficult aspects of the process, as it involves lowering our defenses and allowing ourselves to feel deeply. For many, vulnerability is associated with weakness or exposure, but it is actually a source of great strength. When we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, we create the conditions necessary for healing to take root. Vulnerability enables us to connect with our emotions, understand their origins, and address them in a meaningful way. It also fosters deeper connections with others, allowing us to receive the support and empathy that can be so vital to our recovery. Another key component of healing is self-compassion. Often when we are in pain, we become our own harshest critics, blaming ourselves for what has happened or for how we feel. This self-judgment only compounds our suffering and makes it harder to move forward. Healing requires us to treat ourselves with the same kindness and understanding we would offer a loved one in need. It involves recognizing that we are human, that we make mistakes, and that our worth is not diminished by our struggles. Practicing self-compassion helps us cultivate a sense of inner peace and resilience, making it easier to face the challenges of healing. Forgiveness is another crucial aspect of the healing journey. This is not about excusing harmful behavior or pretending that pain did not occur, but about releasing the hold that anger, resentment, or regret has over us. Holding on to these emotions can keep us trapped in the past, preventing us from fully engaging with the present. Forgiveness is an act of liberation, freeing us from the weight of bitterness and allowing us to move forward with a lighter heart. This process often starts with forgiving ourselves, letting go of guilt or shame that may be hindering our progress, and extending that forgiveness to others as we feel ready. Healing also involves a commitment to self-care. This means prioritizing our physical, emotional, and mental well-being, even when it feels difficult or indulgent. Self-care can take many forms, from getting enough rest and eating nourishing food to seeking therapy, practicing mindfulness, or engaging in activities that bring us joy. It is not a one-time action, but an ongoing practice, a way of showing ourselves that we are deserving of care and attention. By tending to our needs, we create the conditions necessary for healing to occur, reinforcing our sense of self-worth and agency. As we heal, we often uncover hidden strengths and resources within ourselves. Pain has a way of revealing aspects of our character that we might not have recognized otherwise. It challenges us to dig deep, to find resilience and determination in the face of adversity. These qualities, once discovered, become invaluable tools for navigating future challenges and building a life that reflects our values and aspirations. Healing is not just about recovering from pain, but about emerging stronger, wiser, and more connected to our true selves. Another important element of healing is the ability to set boundaries. Painful experiences often arise from situations where our boundaries were not respected or where we neglected to enforce them. As we heal, we learn the importance of defining and protecting our limits, both for ourselves and in our relationships with others. Setting boundaries is an act of self-respect, a way of ensuring that we do not repeat patterns that have caused us harm. It also creates a sense of safety and empowerment, allowing us to engage with the world from a place of strength and clarity. Healing is also about finding meaning in our experiences. While we cannot always control what happens to us, we can choose how we respond and what we take away from those experiences. This does not mean diminishing the pain or pretending it did not affect us, but rather integrating it into our story in a way that fosters growth and understanding. Finding meaning in pain can help us make sense of our journey, giving us a sense of purpose and direction as we move forward. It can also inspire us to use our experiences to support and uplift others, turning our pain into a source of strength and connection. Finally, healing is a process of transformation. It is about shedding old patterns, beliefs, and attachments that no longer serve us and stepping into a new version of ourselves. This transformation is not always linear or predictable. It often involves setbacks, detours, and moments of doubt. But each step, no matter how small, brings us closer to a place of wholeness and peace. Healing is a journey of self-discovery, a chance to reconnect with our inner wisdom and create a life that honors our true essence. Through this process, we not only recover from pain, but also unlock our potential for joy, love, and fulfillment. Letting go is often seen as one of the hardest things we can do, especially when it comes to relationships, memories, or experiences that have shaped us. We naturally hold on to things that have significance in our lives, whether it's people, possessions, or moments from our past. This attachment, however, can hinder our growth and emotional well-being. Letting go is not about forgetting or abandoning what mattered. Rather, it is about releasing the grip that those things or experiences have on us. It is about freeing ourselves from the weight of the past so we can move forward with a lighter heart and an open mind. Letting go begins with the recognition that attachment is often a form of control. We hold on to people or situations because we believe that in doing so, we maintain some semblance of control over our lives. We believe that if we just keep trying, keep holding on, we will somehow be able to shape the outcome. However, control is an illusion. And the more tightly we cling to something or someone, the more we block ourselves from experiencing the full spectrum of life. In reality, holding on out of fear, guilt, or insecurity only leads to stagnation, preventing us from growing and moving forward. Part of letting go is realizing that not everything is meant to stay. Life is dynamic, and change is one of its most consistent features. People come in and out of our lives, situations shift, and circumstances evolve. It is natural for things to end, whether it's a relationship, a career, or a chapter in our lives. The endings are not failures, they are transitions that open the door for new beginnings. Understanding that change is not something to be feared, but embraced allows us to release our attachment to what was and prepare ourselves for what is yet to come. Letting go is also about surrendering the need to understand everything. Often we hold on to things because we don't have the answers or because we are seeking closure. We demand that life makes sense, that we understand the reasoning behind every experience at every event. But some things will never make sense, and trying to force clarity can keep us trapped in a cycle of confusion and frustration. In these moments, surrendering to the unknown is one of the most freeing things we can do. It does not mean we stop seeking answers or growth. It simply means that we accept uncertainty and allow ourselves to trust in the flow of life rather than trying to control it. Another essential part of letting go is accepting that not everything will be fair. Life does not always deliver what we think we deserve. People may hurt us, opportunities may slip through our fingers, and we may be faced with challenges that seem unjust. However, holding on to resentment or anger over what is perceived as unfair only prolongs our suffering. Letting go of the need for fairness allows us to move past the bitterness and step into a place of peace. It frees us from the weight of past wrongs and opens us up to the possibility of healing and moving on. Letting go also involves embracing the idea of forgiveness. This is often one of the most challenging aspects of releasing the past, particularly when we have been hurt or wronged. Forgiveness is not about excusing harmful behavior or forgetting the pain we've experienced. It is about freeing ourselves from the emotional hold that resentment has on us. Holding on to anger or hurt keeps us tied to the person or situation that caused us pain. And as long as we remain tethered to that negativity, we cannot fully heal. Forgiveness allows us to take back our power, releasing the grip of past wrongs so we can move forward with emotional freedom. One of the most profound ways letting go manifests is through the relinquishment of expectations. Expectations are often tied to our attachments. We expect people to act in certain ways, situations to unfold in specific manners, or outcomes to align with our desires. When those expectations are not met, it can lead to disappointment and frustration. Letting go of expectations does not mean we stop striving or stop hoping. It simply means we release the need for things to be a certain way. It allows us to approach life with openness and flexibility, accepting whatever comes with grace and without resistance. The process of letting go can also be deeply liberating in terms of self-identity. We often define ourselves by our past experiences, the roles we've played in relationships, or the labels others have given us. These attachments to our identity can limit us, keeping us anchored in a version of ourselves that is outdated or no longer true. Letting go of these identities, whether it's the identity of a victim, a failure, or someone who needs to constantly prove their worth, opens up the possibility for reinvention. It allows us to step into a new version of ourselves, free from the limitations imposed by past roles and labels. Furthermore, letting go requires cultivating trust in the process of life. Often we resist letting go because we fear the void that will be left behind. We worry that without this attachment, we will lose our sense of purpose or direction. However, when we let go, we create space for new opportunities, new experiences, and new connections. The process of letting go is not an ending, but a beginning, a way of clearing out the old so that something new can take its place. Trusting in this process allows us to release what no longer serves us without fear of the unknown. Letting go also means releasing the need for perfection. Perfectionism is a form of attachment to an ideal that is often impossible to achieve. When we let go of the need for perfection, we allow ourselves to be human, to make mistakes, to be flawed, and to learn from those experiences. This release is liberating because it removes the pressure to live up to impossible standards and creates space for self-compassion and authenticity. It allows us to embrace who we are right now without needing to constantly strive for an unattainable ideal. Finally, letting go is an act of self-love. It is choosing to release what holds us back so that we can step into a life that is more aligned with our true self. It is about acknowledging that we are worthy of peace, happiness, and growth, and that in order to claim these things, we must let go of the attachments that weigh us down. Letting go is not about loss, it is about liberation, the freedom to live fully in the present, unburdened by the past, and open to the possibilities that lie ahead. It is an essential part of creating the life we deserve.